At 12 o'clock, we have the Raiders traveling to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers.
I thought it was
One more
the
game,
Jets.
yeah. Steelers favored by 5.5 points in this game on CBS. So the big thing, in my opinion, for this game, it's interesting. The Raiders lost Josh Jacobs this week to an injury. He will be out for this game, and he is the lifeblood of this offense. They run it through him so much. And so it's going to be interesting. Can Kenyon Drake handle that role? Because, I mean, Kenyon Drake is one of the best backup running backs in the entire NFL. He was a great player in Arizona 2 years ago. He had a little bit of struggle last year in Arizona. But, I mean, can Kenyon Drake step up and take over for this team? It's an interesting thing as well for the Raiders is the receiving core. To me, it's interesting because you got Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is probably your best receiver, and he's a slot guy. And it's just interesting. That's almost never the case on any team. Is your best receiver is your slot receiver. Doesn't happen very often. But then you got Henry Ruggs. He's a burner. I'm actually interested to see how he does this year, taking his next step up. Bryan Edwards really impressed me at the end of the last game, making clutch catch after clutch catch. Almost got the game-winning touchdown, getting him to the 1-yard line before the Raiders did Raiders-esque things, false starting and then throwing an interception and almost handing the game directly to the Ravens before the defense. Defense was also a surprise to me for the Raiders. The Raiders' defense normally is really garbage, really sucky. And this year it actually looked like a good unit. It looked like a strength is rushing the passer with Max Crosby. But that's what I have to say about the Raiders. Going on the Steelers side of things, they really impressed me week 1 against the Buffalo Bills. Now, I'm a little bit worried about Big Ben Roethlisberger's arm. I think it's a little bit. It's not as strong as it used to be. I feel like that's a reasonable thing to say. I'm really worried about him. Najee Harris wasn't dominant on the ground like I expected him to be to start the year. He's the only running back that's really going to see any carries. I don't see Benny Snell Jr. or Kalen Ballage contributing that much on offense. The receiving core is really good. You got Juju Smith-Schuster. You have Chase Claypool, who's on my dad's fantasy team. You have Deontay Johnson. You have James Washington. Like, this is a killer receiving core. Not to mention your tight ends. You have Pat Freiermuth, who is the second best tight end in this draft class, only behind Kyle Pitts because Kyle Pitts was so athletic. Pat Freiermuth produced so much in college for Penn State. He was such a great tight end there, and so I just thought it was really interesting. The Pittsburgh Steelers kind of struggled on offense to start the year. I'm interested to see. Co-host Poppers, calm down. It's just Pap upstairs. But who do you think is going to win?
Steelers all the way.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think it's going to be the Raiders. I think Derek Carr is a really good quarterback. I think he's going to prove it here tonight.
You're right.